Whoa! How's it going, YouTube? My name is Mark, and today I'm putting together a video for you, an introduction to a juicing machine called the Champion. And give you a little history on this. This machine actually is an original from the mid-70s. Used to be my parents' machine, and they purchased it sometime in the mid-70s and used it during the late 70s. I didn't even know they had it, and I didn't even know they were juicing with it. But apparently, my father, who suffered from rheumatoid arthritis the better part of his life, saw a doctor back then, and the doctor said, "Hey, why don't you try juicing?" So my parents did that for a while, and then apparently they put it up in the attic and never ever touched it again. Now, about 4 years ago, I saw the Joe Cross documentary about juicing, and that motivated me to start looking into juicing and doing it myself. I've been juicing for about 4 years now, and this was my first juicing machine. I really like it. So what I wanted to do is kind of take it apart, explain to you a little bit about how it works, and just kind of give you a basic rundown on the Champion juicing machine. These things are still manufactured today. They look identical to the way this one looks. Operates the same. This has never been serviced. Works like a champ. Ha! Champion. So here's the basic unit. It's a single auger machine, and it's got a blade in here that rotates at a very high RPM. This is the feed chute. So you put the vegetables in here, fruits and vegetables, and it is shaved by this rotating auger. The pulp comes out of the end of the auger housing here, and the juice is delivered below. So the actual setup would look something like this. The juice will be caught in this container here, and the pulp would be caught in this container here. These containers don't come with the machine, but you can pretty much use whatever you want. So I'll show you how quickly I can take this apart and put it back together again, and some of the things you might want to keep in mind. Very few pieces. So it's kind of the ramrod. This is a little funnel for your feed chute. This rotates off. This is the housing over the auger. The auger comes off. There's a screen shield at the bottom of this piece, and that's it. That's all you got on this machine. So let me tell you some little tricks. This little metal pin that extrudes comes out of the machine. It rotates really fast. You want to keep it lubricated so that the cutting blade slides on and off very easily. You can use Crisco oil, you can use olive oil, you can use anything like that, but make sure you use it, and that way this piece will slide on very easily, it comes off very easily. If you don't do that, trust me, I've been a bad boy, I didn't do it. This auger has a tendency to seat up on that shaft, and sometimes it can be really hard to get off. So don't let that happen. So basically, in putting it together, that's the first piece. The second piece is trying to figure this housing. Very easy. You got a screen grate. It fits right over this hole, and then you've got a piece of plastic that holds it in place, and that slides in just like that. That's all there is to it. This has some notches on the side, has some notches here. You figure out how it lines up, get the notch on the notch, you twist it, boom, you're locked in. This is about the width of the feed chute. Here's a regular spoon. So it gives you a size, it's a pretty good size. You don't have to do excessive cutting on your vegetables for this. There you go. Little ramrod. Don't use anything other than this. Don't put a spoon in there. Don't put your hands in there. Don't put forks in there. All bad news. Use this. It's the right size. It's not going to hit the blades. You're not going to cause craziness happening. Those blades are really sharp. Collection tray and the pulp tray. So that's all there really is to this machine, the Champion. I'll plug it in for you so you can hear how it sounds. You know, it doesn't sound like an aircraft, does it? It's not, you know, you're not getting buzzed by this thing. It's not very loud at all. So you should be happy with it. Makes a little bit of racket when you put the veggies through, but I'll show you that in a later video. So let me tell you a little bit about what this juicer is good for. There are juicers that are good for some things and good for other things. This juicer is really good at root vegetables, hard vegetables. So what does it do good at? Carrots. It does really good at carrots. I've also found it does good with cucumbers. It does good with apples. It does good with pears, hard firm pears. Any kind of hard fruit it's going to do good with. Veggies, celery, it does very good with. Anything else? I juice sweet peas. I juice sweet peppers. This will do good with those. The bottom line is the bad rap that the Champion gets is it's not supposed to do very well with leafy greens. But I will argue that point. I put kale through this. I put romaine lettuce through this. I put Swiss chard, and I put bok choy. All of those do remarkably well. The only thing that really doesn't do so good in this is spinach. It creates a lot of foam. And that's another bad rap that this machine gets, is it creates more foam than you would in a slow RPM juicer like this 8004 Omega. My experience is it does produce some foam. And I think that's because of the RPMs. A way to get away from that is through your juicing cycle, when you're about halfway through whatever you're doing, stop the machine, pull this housing off, take this off, and oh, there you go, it's on the floor. Take the strainer off. There will be a layer of pulp on the inside of this strainer that affects the juice coming through it. Clean that off once while you're juicing, and a lot of that foam will be eliminated, and you'll get a much better yield for your juice. So that's a little trick that I learned along the way. This is a great machine. Like I say, I'm going to do a little green juice in it later in another video, but that's the basics. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a beginner to juicing, you want a machine to start out on, you're thinking about the Breville. I've tried those. Big mess. Not very good with the leafy greens. I've tried the top of the line Breville, quite honestly. I didn't care for it so much. I know there's a lot of people that love it, but this is an alternative to it. Doesn't make half the mess, and it actually, in my opinion, produces a lot better juice. So give that a chance if you're a beginner into juicing. This is a good machine to start with. It's not very expensive, and it's built like a cannon. It's built like a cannon, so you're not going to break it. Okay? All right. Enjoy your day, and thanks for watching my video.